Hello everybody, I'm Grant Fluff from Fletcher Sports Zone and welcome back to another YouTube video. And today I'm going to be recapping the NFL news for you. And today was franchise tag day. You had to get in your final franchise tags. Some star players got released. Some star players are not going to be re-signed. They're going to test free agency. Maybe they come back. We will see. But before we get into my reactions for that, and I do apologize if I get notifications throughout this broadcast. This is clearing through. My goodness, got a lot of tabs open there. Let's take a look at your sponsor for today's episode, Fletcher Sports Zone, for the daily sports news. You have everything you need here, all your NFL free agency news, all your regular NHL, NFL, NBA, and MLB news. You see here we have trades, we have serials coming out, we got crazy rumors, Odell Beckham Jr. maybe going to the Buccaneers. You have your up to second trades. I was up all day doing the franchise tags, and Lavonte David got re-signed. We'll get to that. Some huge NHL news. They are moving to ESPN now, which is awesome. But we're just going to review the NFL news from today. So the Raiders traded right tackle Trent Brown back to the Patriots, along with a 2022 7th round pick for a 2022 5th round pick. This was a pretty awesome trade for the Patriots. Now, what I will say is that this makes complete sense, bringing back Trent Brown, because he's used to the system. Also, you have to realize that, Mike Cannon's he's a good right tackle, but he is 30, and it's time to move on. And why not get a play you've already had before? I know he's playing left tackle with the Raiders, but he's 100% going to be playing right tackle here because Isaiah Wynn has proven to be a pretty good left tackle. So this is a pretty smart move by the Patriots. And goodness, they're only giving up a 2022 5th round pick. The Raiders, they've been going crazy. They've released LaMarcus Joyner, Leonard Williams, Richie Incognito, Gabe Jackson. They have released a lot of good players thus far. And I guess the first one they traded away, for the Raiders, we still don't know what's going to happen with Marcus Mariota. I heard that the Raiders are interested in signing A.J. Boye as well. We'll see what happens, but yes, Trent Brown is going to the New England Patriots for the second time in his career. We'll move on to our first franchise tag. The Giants placed the franchise tag on defensive end Leonard Williams. He was always a good player. I liked him on the Jets, but the problem was it's the Jets, and he couldn't develop properly. That changed in New York. He's gotten a little bit better. He's still pretty strong. He's still pretty quick. He's still in his mid-20s. This makes sense to give him the franchise tag. Perhaps work a long-term deal. I don't know. I've heard rumors that Williams may actually not want to be a Giant for much longer, but at least for the moment, they got the franchise tag, so that's good at least. The Panthers placed their franchise tag on right tackle Taylor Morton. Not that this is a bad thing by any means, but the fact you don't lock up Curtis Samuel, in my opinion, is absolute insanity. Samuel testing free agency, you had a chance to, even on a one-year deal, you had a shot to bring back your number 2 receiver. And you just let him walk. That was bad on Carolina's part. Taylor Morton is probably better off in the long run, considering that, it appeared that, Samuel, he wanted to sign with the Jets, Washington. It just seemed like he ultimately wanted to sign with other teams in general. But at the same time, if you're number 2 receiver, and we're going to get to this when we get to the Jaguars franchise tag. I feel like offensive linemen are kind of easy to find in the draft. Now, you can call me crazy, but the majority of good offensive linemen nowadays are hardly first-round picks anymore. They're usually like third rounds and below, and they usually end up being pretty good veteran centers. I'm not exactly sure where Taylor Morton was drafted off the top of my head, but I feel that, okay, you could try to re-sign Morton in free agency. Because I think if you were going to send Morton out there on the open market, I felt he would have been easier to re-sign than Curtis Samuel. Maybe Carolina just doesn't want Curtis Samuel anymore. I have no idea. But Carolina, whether they stick with Teddy Bridgewater or they draft someone new, he was a key piece. And if I was Carolina, I would be looking at next year's, it's another rebuild year, but if you're going to get a new quarterback not named Bridgewater, I felt like you had to keep a piece around. Obviously, still McCaffrey, DJ Moore, they're going to be fine offensively, at least. The defense is still the main worry, but, I don't know if I would have given it to Taylor Morton there. All right, the Buccaneers, this is kind of a no-brainer. The Buccaneers place their franchise tag on wide receiver Chris Godwin. Yes, they have Antonio Brown. Yes, they have Rob Gronkowski. Yes, they have Leonard Fournette. And they also have Shaquille Barrett under contract. But Godwin, no offense, Shaquille Barrett, he was great in 2019. But this year, it was still great this year, but I feel like Godwin had the better year in general. Comparing a receiver to a defensive end, it's not the most fair comparison in the world. I understand that. But I think overall, this was the smart move. Antonio Brown, he played well, but come on, Chris Godwin's better. Same thing with Gronk. He played well, but they're probably going to re-sign Gronk anyway, maybe even Antonio Brown. People are going to want to sign Antonio Brown because of the talent, but they're not going to want to sign him because of his attitude issues. It looks like he has finally smartened up after 3 years of nonstop drama, so that's good at least. And at least for Gronk, it's pretty clear that unless he's playing with Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski wants to retire. He maybe never said that publicly. Ultimately, that's what he most likely feels like. And I kind of get that, I guess. I think Shaquille Barrett, I think the Buccaneers are going to re-sign Shaquille Barrett to a pretty lengthy extension if they can. Well, yeah. All right. So now on to the Jaguars, my favorite team. Not happy with this one. Jaguars placing the franchise tag on left tackle Cam Robinson. Robinson, of course, rookie out of 2017. He was the left tackle for Alabama. And, he was great in college. He's been okay in the NFL level. I'm not trying to rank on this dude or nothing. I have much respect for Cam Robinson, but I don't know if I use my franchise tag on him. I think I either go Cindy Jones or Avery Jones, ironically. Now, here's the reason why they went with Robinson, because they drafted Ben Bartch to left tackle last year, but he isn't anywhere ready for a starting spot. So that makes sense why Jacksonville's playing it safe and, keeping their starting left tackle. Just one problem, Robinson is way too injury prone for my liking. Again, he's a good player, but he is way too injury prone. He missed the majority of 2018 and 2019, if I remember correctly. So, that's not good. Also, Cindy Jones coming over from the Eagles during the season. Cindy Jones had a marvelous season with the Jaguars. I really couldn't complain. I thought he did awesome. And, it was very interesting. I felt like he redeemed himself after a couple of sluggish years in Philly. And I think the Jaguars will eventually re-sign him to a one-year deal anyway. Cindy Jones, though, I wasn't really worried about because, I think even if he hits the open market, not many teams are going to want him. I think the Jaguars are going to re-sign him regardless. And then hopefully the Jaguars can cut Rashad Melvin to save some salary cap. But my main problem here is Avery Jones. Do not put your faith in Taven Bryan. I know you drafted Bryan in the first round in 2018, but listen, everyone knew that pick was a reach. And it has turned out to be one of the worst draft picks of that draft thus far. You know, you want to put your faith in Taven Bryan because, you know, we have one more season till he becomes, you know, eligible for a franchise tag. Okay. But I don't know, Avery Jones, he was pretty solid. He had 5.5 sacks this year. He's actually been pretty underrated his entire career. And, I mean, I just think Avery Jones is more of a contributor than Cam Robinson. But again, if you're going to get a defensive end, that's probably, you know, it's probably easier finding someone Avery Jones caliber than Cam Robinson's, which I also get. Also, not that I will use my franchise tag on this player, but DeJuan Smoot's underrated as well. I like DeJuan Smoot. I think he may have actually been the one who had 5.5 sacks. He's been pretty quiet as well and very underrated throughout his career. So, DeJuan Smoot even, I wouldn't have really complained. Well, actually, I would have a little bit, but maybe not as much. Cam Robinson's not a bad player, again. It's just he's injury prone, and especially if he gets injured early on in the season again, then it's kind of, the franchise tag was kind of a waste because we really don't know if we're going to re-sign him or not. I'd say if he gets injured for more than half the games this year, good player, but don't re-sign him because he's just too injury prone. All right. Into our first, they did not franchise tag, and I didn't post all the not franchise tags, so we'll just get rid of the majority of them here for one fell swoop. Kenny Galladay was the first one. The Lions are not re-signing Kenny Galladay. That's interesting. You know, you just traded for Jared Goff. So the fact he didn't try to bring back his only legit weapon aside TJ Hawkinson is kind of alarming. Well, they do have Marvin Jones, but still. Kenny Galladay's just much better, and he's much younger. Now, I get Detroit's kind of slammed up against the cap space, and they're still kind of a young team. But, yeah, this was not good. I don't think the Lions ended up using their franchise tag, if I'm being honest, and it's just not re-signing Kenny Galladay. So tough, because, again, he's your number one receiver. Now, I heard he was going to be 28. The Lions get a third-round pick, I believe, if he doesn't re-sign. I was seeing some Instagram posts earlier today that was actually benefiting the Lions, not franchise tagging Kenny Galladay. But in reality, that was pretty stupid because you're just trying to tick off Jared Goff now, and he hasn't even played a snap for you yet. So, you know, we'll see what happens, but Galladay no longer a Lion. I mean, I'm happy for him. I mean, God, he shouldn't be on the Lions. They've already wasted the first 3 years of his career. He is a very good receiver. I hear a lot of people saying Kenny Galladay may sign with the Giants. Me personally, I think Kenny Galladay signing with the Dolphins. It's clear the Dolphins need a number 2 receiver next to Devontae Parker, and we'll get to Allen Robinson in a minute. But yeah, it's pretty clear that Miami's going to go all in on Kenny Galladay and give him like a 3 or 4 year deal. I could be completely wrong, but that's my prediction. And here we go. Here we go. Now we get to the Allen Robinson franchise tag by the Bears. Ouch. This one sucked. This one was the most painful to post, I think, because Allen Robinson's so good. And the Bears, I mean, unless they draft someone, I feel sorry because, I mean, I don't think they're re-signing Trubisky. God, I wouldn't think the Bears would re-sign Mitch Trubisky. But what I will say is that Nick Foles is currently their starter if Trubisky hits the market. And that is not good. In fact, Robinson's stats were much better when Trubisky was the quarterback this season. So, yeah, that's not ideal for Robinson. Yeah, that's just really unfortunate. I mean, I don't know Robinson's stats off the top of my head, but overall, it's just unfortunate. It just really is because, you know, even with the Jaguars, you know, he never really done much because he's always been a good player. It's just the one year he was injured in Jacksonville, of course, that was the year the Jaguars made the AFC Championship game. Other than that, he was, you know, stuck on some pretty terrible teams. I know people will throw Blake Bortles was quarterback, but let's be real, Bortles was okay. I get backlash for that, but he's an all right quarterback, all right. But yeah, for Allen Robinson, he's an even better receiver, and we gotta get him on a contender. We gotta get him on a contender 100%. I honestly thought Allen Robinson. I mean, you can't reject franchise tags, but I feel like Allen Robinson would definitely go to the Patriots if he was to hit the open market. All right, the Vikings released kicker Dan Bailey. I mean, he was okay. I mean, he was really good with the Cowboys a few years ago, but yeah, now he hasn't done much on the Vikings. He's just been kind of underwhelming. He's going to get signed. I wouldn't worry about it. He'll definitely be a starting kicker next season, but this makes sense for the Vikings. You know, he was a decent kicker, but I remember that game against the Buccaneers. What was it, week 13 or week 14 when the Bucs played the Vikings and he shanked the 4 kicks? Like, oh dear. That was atrocious. So that was his worst game of his career by a country mile. But yeah, he was good with the Cowboys back in the day. Now he's all right. Again, I think he's gonna be on a team next year. Like, I could see the Jets trying to sign him. Who's in need for a kicker right now? Like the Jets, and I guess the Rams. I don't know. Matt Gay played okay. Maybe not the Rams. The Bears. I don't know. Eddie Pinheiro was hurt all year, and Kristen Staros isn't that good. Let's see. I don't think anyone else. Like, I would say the Patriots, but Nick Folk had a good season, so I can't really complain there. Maybe the Cardinals because they released Zane Gonzalez. I don't know. But Dan Bailey, he'll be signed. Don't worry about him. Here was probably the biggest news of the day, I guess, aside the Allen Robinson news maybe. The Buccaneers re-signed star linebacker Lavonte David to a 2-year, $25 million deal. $20 million guaranteed. Woo, baby. That was a good contract and a well-deserved contract. Coming off a Super Bowl win, he was another one who was up for contract. And between Gronk, Godwin, Barrett, Brown, and Gronkowski, David is the guy you have to re-sign out of all of them, right? He's been with the team the longest since 2012, and he's just been a consistent Pro Bowler ever since, and honestly one of the more underrated linebackers in the league. Of course, it's this year when the Bucs, actually win the Super Bowls when he's finally getting his credit, but this guy's been tearing up the league since like 2016, 2015 even. The guy's been amazing. It's just the Buccaneers have been so forgettable for so long. You hate to see it, but you love to see this contract, though. David definitely deserved it a lot. I really can't hate on this move. This was a fantastic signing. Bucs should be a playoff team again next year, and he is going to be that lean contributor and that leader in the locker room in general. He's surrounded the game. He's devoted his career to Tampa Bay pretty much. Why leave now? Are you giving him a good contract? That's all right. He's entering into his 30s, I'm pretty sure, by the time the contract expires, but it's a good deal overall. The Saints place a franchise tag on free safety Marcus Williams. This was pretty smart. Yeah, Williams, he messed up the Minneapolis Miracle. But really, other than the Minneapolis Miracle, you cannot tell me Marcus Williams, excuse me. Marcus Peters, on the other hand, yeah, he's been pretty bad the past couple of years. But Marcus Williams, aside the Minnesota Miracle, the Minneapolis Miracle, rather, you can't say he's had a bad career because he hasn't. He has a shutdown safety who has, I think, been the main reason why Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's a solid safety at the moment. And, I agree. Maybe you don't want to give Williams a huge contract this year. Maybe they will later in the offseason. Who knows? But, I'm kind of with this. I'm with the franchise tag on this one. It was smart not giving Williams so much money just yet. I think you gotta see one more year out of him, and then you pay him a lot of money. I agree with that 100%. Moving on to just real quickly, we got our last topic here. Yes, we do. Our last topic is the Titans releasing cornerback Malcolm. Oh, I forgot to. No, never mind. We'll talk about some of this stuff real quickly. But Titans released cornerback Malcolm Butler. I'm not shocked at all. Butler, really, outside Super Bowl 49, is a pretty forgettable player. No, he was good with the Patriots, but yeah, ever since he joined the Titans, he's just kind of like, oh yeah, Malcolm Butler. He's still around, and then that's what I'm saying. Unless you bring up Super Bowl 49 or Super Bowl 52 to break Patriot fans' hearts, You can make, by bringing up Malcolm Butler, you can make him happy or you can make him sad. Because the whole Super Bowl 49 game-winning interception thing, or the whole Super Bowl 52, he got suspended for that game. Or not suspended, he got benched for doing legal stuff that I don't even think was that, I don't even think was that bad, but that's besides the point. Yeah, Butler getting released by the Titans. He's been with the team for 3 years. Honestly, I thought they were going to release him last offseason. I'm even shocked he made it to this season. He's a good player, yes, but yeah, just no room for Malcolm Butler. Now, we'll go back to the key players that were not franchise tagged real quickly. Juju Smith-Schuster for the Steelers was not. Neither was Bud Dupree for the Packers. Aaron Jones is no longer. I think Aaron Jones is another one, just like this man right here, Kenny Galladay. I think he's going to end up signing with the Dolphins. We will see. Another one was Trey Hendrickson from the Saints, the defensive end. He wants to try free agency. Seahawks running back Chris Carson also wants to try free agency. And while I'm at it, we can just go over the Dak Prescott trade, because I'm sure, or not the Dak Prescott trade, the Dak Prescott contract, which you may want to hear my opinion on. So it is a 4-year, $160 million contract, $126 million guaranteed with a no trade clause. Now, the second highest paid quarterback in the league, I disagree with it 100%. Listen, Dak's a good quarterback. I think I actually made a video about it a few weeks ago. I wouldn't have gone anything over $130 million. Like that $126 million guaranteed, that's what I would have gave him. Like he's making $75 million a year. That's ridiculous. For a while, the Cowboys to go 8-8 or 9-7. I mean, I hate to sound like, the Cowboys finishing barely above 500 or 500 is a stale joke, but that's the point. That's all I've been seeing on the NFL meme accounts on Instagram and Twitter, and it's true. Why are you going to pay someone $75 million a year to play slightly above average and not win the Super Bowl? I'm sorry, but with that defense, Dak could put up 50 points. He's got to have to put up 50 points a game or else the Cowboys aren't going to win games. That defense is just so bad. Besides Leighton Vander Esch and Dexter Lawrence, it's just that rest of that defense it's not good. DeMarcus Lawrence, excuse me. I think Dexter Lawrence is on the Giants. Anyway. Yeah, and the no trade clause, well, that I agree. But yeah, the $126 million, I mean, I agree with the 4-year $126 million. Just drop the guaranteed and give him $126 million total, and I'd say give him about about $100 million guaranteed. I think that would have been a pretty smart contract there. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I mean, just other news here. Titans trade right tackle Isaiah Wilson and 2022 7th to the Dolphins for a 2021 7th. The Jets placed the franchise tag on Marcus May. I know the Broncos placed the franchise tag on Justin Simmons. Seahawks released Carlos Dunlap. Again, Tom Brady wants the Buccaneers to trade for Odell Beckham Jr., but that's not going to happen. Ryan Fitzpatrick's contemplating retirement, and yeah, Micah Hyde got re-signed for a 2-year deal, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and again, make sure you go follow that account right there, Fletcher Sports Zone, for daily sports news. Hopefully, looking at this, you will not be disappointed or angry if your feed gets clogged up with sports news. But anyway, I'm Grant Flood from Fletcher Sports Zone saying enjoy the rest of your evening.